Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Expat life in the Philippines. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my life in the Philippines, my routine. I don't have much of a daily routine, but in a sense I do. That's the Diplomat Hotel. I'm walking on Ramos Street in kind of considered the uptown area of Cebu City in the Philippines, Cebu province, and that was where I scanned up there. I think that's a new condominium being built. But anyway, I'm going to walk up here. I'm going to go back towards, I need to get something at a store up here. Walk back towards Ramos Public Market and show you a few sights along the way. My routine, I've got a bit of a routine. When I get up, normally anywhere from 6 to 8 o'clock, and make some coffee. I tend to eat 2 meals a day now. I eat a meal between 11 and 1 o'clock. I eat something, and I eat between 5 and 6 o'clock. There's a traffic enforcer there giving out a citation. Now they've hired I think over 200 new traffic enforcers in the last couple of years, and you'll see them standing on various streets just pulling people over randomly, I think. But I get up, I make my coffee, and I read some news. I check some Philippine news sites. I check some international news sites, European news, North American news, some other Asian news sites, and see if there's anything that just pops out, something that I should see right away, read, be aware of, perhaps pass information along. And then shortly after that, on my computer and checking my comments, checking my videos, and I try to answer almost all videos. I can't answer them all. If you've made some sort of comment, if you put some sort of link in the comment, sometimes YouTube will take some videos, they will put them in a folder called maybe inappropriate or something like that, and I check that usually once a month just to see what's there, and sometimes they're advertising, although a lot of it gets through. Some links to porn sites, different things get through. And going by BDO Bank up here, there are a number of banks along here. There's always a line of people waiting to get in, so get used to waiting in lines if you come to the Philippines. Probably many countries in the world are like that, especially these times when they limit the number of people who can enter a particular business. But I check and answer my comments. That might take me an hour, might take me 2 hours. And my email, now I've gone over to a new email service. I've got a number of email accounts, and I've gone over to a service called Thunderbird, where it goes out and gets all my emails, brings them in. And if you've emailed me and haven't got a quick response, it's probably because I'm still getting used to that system. And it's previously, I don't know, a year ago I had paid for a service, but there was a learning process involved, and I finally got a little frustrated with the learning process, and went back to, well, anyway, I've gone to this system here, and you've got a spa. I did not stop at the spa. I have not been in the spa. A friend of mine goes here regularly. Sandia Massages. Here's some of the prices, if you can read those. 1 hour body massage, $350. Hour and a half, 500 pesos, about 10 US dollars. Various prices there. There are quite a number of massage places in town, legitimate, and a few less so, is what I've understood. Can't tell you that much more about that. As cheap as massages are here, one should take advantage of that. This is where you find your apartments for rent. So walking down the street, people put out banners, big business banner printing. LBC is one of the big shipping companies here. I used to get send myself money through Zoom, which is owned by PayPal, and they started getting a little more difficult to deal with. So now I'm just using a ATM presently. But this is just some of the companies that you can do money transfers through companies like this. Zoom, there being one of them. Remitly, Transfast, I think some of you use that. Palawan Express is real big here. Some of these companies, Remitly, MoneyGram, some of these companies specialize in certain countries. They're focused on Australia or Asia or North America or Europe. So the companies that I would use might not be the same companies that you would use. So you need to do your research and find out what would work best for you. And then sometime during the day, I usually get out and need to now wash and dry. I used to take my stuff to wash and dry. And after buying a scale for myself, I found that their scale was quite a bit higher than my scale. Ramos Street Sports Bar and Grill, they're open again. I think the bars are open, but you're supposed to be vaccinated to enter in. Not sure, they change the rules every week, so. In the past, I've been in there a number of times, and they make a good burger, and one of the only places in town that I have found a good pulled pork sandwich. Some of you know what that is. And the way it comes, they put coleslaw in that sandwich, so understand that ahead of time. It's not served on the side. So if you don't like it that way, be sure to tell them beforehand. And the rest of my routine is working on videos, editing videos, researching new videos. I'm doing some research on a property video presently, and I will have hopefully in the coming week I will put a video up about property prices, some of that type of information. A little bit about inflation. Inflation all over the world is happening. Now, my food prices, a lot of food prices, of course I get a lot of imported food, go to S&R generally. And yeah, here you have Cebu Velez General Hospital. But my prices for food have gone up inflation-wise, and in the Philippines and around the world. I just read that, and it's expected to continue to go up for the next year or two around the world. Inflation-wise for housing has gone down generally. You can make a deal. You can get more for less. And this kid, he had asked me for money when I was walking back the other direction, and I didn't have any smaller bills or change, so I did after I had bought something, and I not supposed to do that, but I gave him, you should give him food or something instead. Who knows what he's going to buy with that? Candy, or they've got some kind of thing they sniff here, some kind of glue or something. Some of them get high on, I guess. But people often walk in the road here because there are obstacles like motorbikes, like holes, food stands, various things on the sidewalks. So we just walk in the street, and vehicles give way. They know that's how people do things. You got a 7-Eleven there, run down there every once in a while. There are lots of convenience type stores, sorry stores that have little things that you might want. Now these people were real nice to say, wave me in front of them rather than pulling out ahead of me. There is a business here called right here called Beehive Restaurant. I think they're based out of Bohol, and they have honey farms, bee farms, and they sell a lot of honey. But they've started opening up restaurants around the Philippines. You'll see them in some malls. You have the options as an expat, as a tourist, to have the lifestyle and make the choices you want. Other than taking into account the present travel restrictions, you can live in a five star condominium. You can live in a cheap one or two, 5,000 peso, a little very basic apartment someplace. So you can make those choices here. You can live by the sea. You can live in the mountains. You can live in a big city. You can live in a small city. You can have a partner. You can get married. You can stay single. You can. So expat life is what you want to make it, and I suggest that you decide before you come here, or even if you're here, if you're confused, sit down and decide what are the things important to you. What's your budget? Stay within your budget. It's very easy. There are so many needs here. It's very easy to spend beyond your budget here. Another little wash place here. I ended up, because of the wash place I was using, their scale was heavier than mine, so I ended up buying a wash machine to use. Save a little bit, and it's much more convenient. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you next time, folks.